I think I have a lot of listeners who are men who would love to support their women into taking steps in this direction of awakening erotically and valuing pleasure. What can such a man do for his woman and, of course, for himself?
I think it's how you present offerings. Like, I think it would be beautiful if we went on an erotic journey together. Like, this is like the next corner of our life, depending on the demographic. This is a new chapter, and this is an opportunity for a big change.
I'm really excited for the conversation that you're about to hear with Pamela Madsen and myself. And first of all, just say a really warm welcome. I'm glad you're here on the show, Pamela. You are a foremost authority in how to take a traditional marriage and turn it into an erotically alive, extraordinary one, a very important topic. And you've been honored in all of the big media outlets. And I would love to just ask you for your response to the very many posts that I see in private groups I'm in of women who say, is it possible to heat up a marriage again? Is it possible after 15, 20 years of a marriage that isn't inherently problematic? It just isn't exciting, and it seems like there should be more. What would you say to the woman wondering if she needs to blow her life up, get divorced, and look for new lovers? But what she really wants is to nurture the marriage in a new way, or have it nurture her in a new way.
So my company is called Back to the Body, not Back to the Partner, right? And so there's a message in that. So I don't believe in burning down your house. You're not going to change him. The odds of changing your husband to make him into what you want by telling him what you want him to be is probably zero, and could even have a negative effect on your marriage or your relationship. I tell women, come back to your body first. Mostly these women are bored. They're bored erotically. They're bored of eating the same TV dinner every night. And it's probably not even being served every night. It could be being served every 6 months or every 10 years. You know, people don't talk about how little sex they're having. People are not having the amount of sex you might think they're having. Or if they are having it, it may be just fine, like a TV dinner, or really boring. And you don't feel like putting it in your mouth because you've had it too many times and you really are ready for something different to eat. Somebody needs to be top chef. And I suggest that women become top chef to themselves first. Reawaken what turns them on. Learn the skills of asking for what you want. You know, one of the women recently said, well, no one's ever asked me what I want. She's not unusual. So to have women work out their stuff, what turns them on erotically, finding that portal that you're fighting to go down. But if you go down that portal, you find your pathway in. On the other side, you know, as everybody says, is gold. And it's usually gold. And so women who do their work first on them can bring a more self-confident, embodied lover to their partner. They may all of a sudden carry home a bag of rope and say, honey, you want to learn how to tie knots? You know, and bring something new and different that may feel like, oh my God, I could never do that. But you will be in a place of an embodied courageousness and self-acceptance so that you can do that. That's a piece of it. It's a big piece about finding your portal and being willing to go there in a safe container. Safe enough. Courageous. A courageous container. When we say the word safe enough, what we mean our boundaries are held. A place where you can drop your backpack, a place where you can stop being hypervigilant, a place where you can say what turns you on without being frightened that your partner's going to be freaked out and they're going to know it forever. and figure all that stuff out. But the part two is harder. And the part two is, so now the woman has done all this work. She goes home, and hopefully her partner was supportive of her doing the work. And she goes home, and without going into explicit detail, because there is a difference between secrecy and privacy. Now her partner may go, oh, you need a vibrator? Like what? Like I'm not enough. And she may confront some of that. And that's where the third party therapist can come in and be of tremendous support in helping that woman bridge the gap between what she finally knows in her body and what she wants to bring to her partner, and maybe the partner's willingness to participate with her. And that's the part we can't predict. We can't predict if he would be like, hell yeah. In fact, will you tie me up, honey? Or if the partner will have a different kind of reaction. And then the last part is the choice. So now we have this woman. She's done all this incredible work, right? She's done the retreats, the program. She's counseled with you. She's done all this incredible work. She brings it to her person. She brings it to her man. And he says, that's nice. I want to watch football. And then she has a choice. And the choice is, do I stay with this marriage, which for all intents and purposes, like serves its purpose in my life, right? But it's not meeting my erotic needs.
I think I have a lot of listeners who are men who would love to support their women into taking steps in this direction of awakening erotically and valuing pleasure. What can such a man do for his woman and, of course, for himself?
I think it's how you present offerings. Like, I think it would be beautiful if we went on an erotic journey together. Like, this is like the next corner of our life, depending on the demographic. If the couples are in their 50s and 60s and 70s, this is a new chapter. If they have children, they've flown. And this is an opportunity for a big change. So instead of saying, I really like to support you to be more connected to your vagina so that you can be happier erotically, so we can have more sex. And I know that, straight back game. It's more of, sweetheart, this is a new time for us. And it's also like the new time of our own adolescence, where we can explore things that we're too busy in building our lives to explore and do. And I found this program for women and this program for men, or let's do a private retreat together as a couple. Let's read a book and try out some of the things for us. But if you start making it about, well, darling, we need to have a talk. I think honey, I think like for Christmas, I would like to give you better access to your own body. And I think then women feel shamed and mansplained and feel more like failing property. Mm-hmm. And it's also true, gentlemen, if you're listening, that she might be bored with what you're bringing to the table. And what can you do to make things more interesting between you? And now they give a couples game. This is a great date night, gentlemen or ladies. It's not gender specific. So take your person out for a lovely date night and say, we're going to do sexy date night tonight. She's like, yeah. Or he's going, uh-huh. And go somewhere near an upscale sex shop. Upscale, there's so many right now. I'm not going to name brands, but there are beautiful shops where they lay out vibrators like they're cashmere sweaters. That's the one you want to go to. And so you go after dinner and you each get a little shopping bag. And the game is separate. And you each have 15 minutes to fill the basket with things that you're curious about or want to try or turn you on. because it's a lot easier to show somebody than tell somebody, right? So if I'm a guy that I want my woman, I want to explore pegging or anal sex with my woman, that might be hard for me to say. But if I put in my basket a strap-on with a dildo and a book about anal sex, she'll get the idea of what it is you're wanting to explore. So sometimes it's easier to show than tell. And then the rule of the game that nobody's allowed to yuck each other's yum. So maybe you're the woman looking in that basket at that strap-on and going, oh no, I can't do that. You don't get to shame him for putting it in the basket. You could say, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that about you. And then you move on and you find in his basket a butt plug, or you find in his basket some kind of dress-up outfit or a toy or a lube, vibrator. And you choose those things. You choose what you feel like you can explore with him. And he does the same in your basket. He looks inside and he chooses 3 items that appeal to him, that appeal to you. And then right away, you've got a whole new erotic conversation going on in your home without attending a retreat. And so you go home with your new toys at 1 at night and explore that and see what that does to jazz things, you know. I find that that's a really good exercise for people because they learn about what turns their partners on, because our erotic lives are evolutionary. And so what turned me on when I was 20 is not what turns me on at 60. There's been a lot of things picked up and put down during that time. And so it's a way of catching up with each other erotically and it's vulnerable. I'm not going to say it's not vulnerable. I'm not going to say it's not courageous. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it's something that's doable. It's really actionable. I've had couples on couples retreats. We do this with couples on couples retreats. And I've had the men and the women say, can we buy each other's whole basket? We don't want just 3. We want the whole basket of their desire. And of course, you can buy the whole basket of desire. You can also learn things. So what if your woman puts lube in the basket and you never even thought about lube for her? You're learning. You just got a request. When you touch my vulva, please use lube. And you may not have known that before. So there's a lot of learning that are even mechanical, logistical, that can come forward by playing this game.
For a woman who wants to develop her relationship with her eroticism and her erotic vitality, I think we have some titillating idea as a society about what desires might look like. But would you speak to the reality of erotic need?
Oh, I think I guess it is a little bit hard to parse need versus want or desire. It's yearning, erotic yearnings. I think actually that's a part of the flame. If we got everything we wanted all the time, would you still want it? I don't know. Not me. I want to work for things. And I think knowing your partner's love language, knowing their erotic needs and wants is wonderful. And I would play with needs, desires, and wants, because you need fire. You need yearning. You need uncertainty. You need a roller coaster to feel sexy, to feel turned on. And so study your partner. Learn them. Learn what they're not saying. Read between the lines. And then parse it out. Like it's not Thanksgiving dinner. It's more like a petite amuse. Oh, he likes lingerie. She likes wearing sexy things. So what if I just introduced stockings and high heels? Maybe driving, I lift up my skirt and I show something frilly underneath. And so it's yeah, his erotic needs or desires is for me to be more free and risky and wearing more sexy things. great. Take it out in bites. Take it out in bites, and you work up to it. And it's just more interesting and more fun.
I love the kind of little bites, small offers, small requests, and building from there. A lot of the couples that I speak with, things kind of simmer in a dehydrated fashion for a long time. And then it's like something small happens and the dam breaks in terms of desire, need, yearning. What are some kindling moves rather than a house fire as the starting point to initiate the process, specifically for the individual woman?
Are you a woman willing to take a chance on herself? And do you have a guide such as yourself, Alexandra, who understands the work to walk beside her?
Yeah. So I am so familiar with what happens when people have some fantastic immersive experience. They feel more alive. They touch who they are. Their eroticism comes alive. And then whether they do that individually or as a couple, let's take it individually. And then they come home and the laundry's where it was and the kids are where they are and the husband's relieved because she's home so she can pick things up again. I actually have a client who recently got back from a 9-day retreat. And I mean, this comes up for everyone and there isn't enough conversation about this, but what guidelines do you give for how to bring home what's been accessed? Obviously, you've described the support. That is one very important piece, but is there any other suggestion?
I think it first is the knowledge that you're bringing it home for you. Again, I talk about back to the body, not back to the partner. And so you're not responsible, actually, to take all of what you just got and immediately gift it to somebody else. I actually tell women to take a breath when they get home. You know, is there food in the house that you like to eat? Tell your partner what you need. Hi, I'm coming home after this deep experience and I'm really craving asparagus. Can you please make sure that there's asparagus in the house? Would you actually pick me up at the airport and let's go out to eat in a neutral space before we come home? Actually, and I'm going to stay in a hotel one night on my own. Or we'll go out for dinner and get a hotel and we're not going to go right home to the kids. Make sure the house is clean. If you're not going to clean it, then splurge on a housekeeper. I'm not coming home to dive right back into what was. That's not why I went.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need a week before I'm ready to talk about most of this.
I love that. And it's beautiful every time you say it in terms of it's back to the body, not back to the partner. I don't think that message is really, well, you're making it louder, but it's so essential.
And that's really what I'm about, is helping women be whole women. And if your orgasm and finding that is a part of you being a whole woman, well, then let's find your orgasm.
Do you want to share about where to find you and a little bit about what to expect if somebody follows up to attend one of your retreats?
I am Pamela Madsen. And my company is backtothebody.org, and you can find me on Instagram at the Pamela Madsen. And we do free consultations. What's also true, so I have a whole team of psychologists who you can call and tell your story to, and they can support you. Sometimes it's good just to call and tell your story, and they contact. That could be the first step for anybody. We will be having what we call a portal in March, which is a 3-day non-residential, super tiny bite of what we have to offer. It will be here in Joshua Tree. They can come over to backtothebody.org and take the pleasure quiz, find out where they are, where did they land in their ability to connect to pleasure, and get a whole bunch of resources. We've got a lot of free stuff for women. Perhaps this will dribble down to your marriage and support your your relationships as you get closer to who you really are.